What's going on, peoples? I got a very special guest in the building, man. A longtime friend, my brother from another mother. He really been here over a decade. Over a decade, I've been knowing this dude right here. But man, a lot has changed, man. A lot has changed, and we gonna get over it. I mean, we gonna go over it. We gonna talk about it. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself to y'all. How y'all doing?
Yo, 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 yo. I'm Shad Smith. I'm from North Carolina, definitely a Carolina boy. Right now I reside in Indiana. Shout out to the 317. And we in here. It's good to be back in the South, baby.
We here, we here, we here. Hey, I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get the juices flowing. You know what I'm saying? Like how we do it. We like to start with some icebreakers. You know what I'm saying? Get the juices, get the conversation flowing. Uh, with you being that like this, my man is like a super entrepreneur, gift the gab. You know what I'm saying? He really got it. But I want to I want you to kind of tell the people about your journey, about like stepping out, cause it's a lot of people watching our podcast. We talk about it all the time. And it's like feeling like there's more. You know what I'm saying? Of course, everybody not called to be full-time entrepreneurship. Everybody not called to do it. But talk about your journey. Talk about stepping out on faith. Talking about leaving leaving your plan B and just really like doing it. Like despite the fear, despite the shoulda couldas. You know what I'm saying? Like how you got past all that. Like the shoulda couldas, having a family, having kids to provide for, and still took that chance. Like how you came to that point. How you even got the courage to even do that.
Yeah, I start off by saying, honestly, grace. By the grace of God. Um, I'm a true believer in the Most High. And what I do know is when you call to do something, you have grace for it. Um, through the pain, through whatever you're going through, when you're graced for it, that particular area is gonna be graced, and so you will find strength, and out of nowhere you will find strength with it. But yeah, as far as my education goes, high school diploma, started off in college studying psychology, but I was not able to leave my city. I was supposed to go play ball, and got into a wreck the summer that I graduated high school, and long story short, ended up staying in my city around the bad influences, which I was one of the bad influences. But eventually, um, I ended up leaving, getting into welding. So the thing about entrepreneurship is that I identified, especially now, is God was cultivating me from a child.
Yeah.
I remember being in third grade, me and my cousin took some Kool-Aid and powdered sugar, put it in baggies, and sold them for 50 cents. Put them in our pencil boxes, took them to school, and was selling the Kool-Aid and the powdered sugar for 50 cents to the kids, and we would sell out. And so that's a form of entrepreneurship. Of course, at that time, we just trying to make a little money.
Yeah.
Of course, being from the South, definitely learned how to work on stuff in the house, learned how to cut grass, work in the yard, never shied away from hard work. And so, why that is so important to bring up is because I'm literally operating in it today. From when it comes to the baggies in the pencil box that sells.
Yeah.
And then my first LLC is a home logistics, which caters to the home needs. So landscaping, moving, delivery, assembly, junk removal, TV mounting, everything except electric, plumbing, and roofing. And so those are the things that I was doing growing up. And so it came second nature to me. And so I just kind of, um, applied what God cultivated me with. And, I haven't looked back.
No, that's facts. I like a couple things about it. like I'm not gonna make this an entrepreneur episode. I literally just had a whole entrepreneur, but I do want to touch on a couple stuff you said, and a couple stuff you say you don't mind doing hard work. And what I'm saying is like entrepreneur in our culture now it's a popular word.
Hmm.
It's just like being an athlete now, just like being an influencer. To be able to say I'm an entrepreneur is the popping thing to say right now.
Yeah,
But talk about the work that it actually takes to be an entrepreneur. It looks good, it looks free, but the amount of work that what it really looks like,
hmm,
you know what I'm saying?
hmm,
Behind the post,
hmm,
behind the Instagram post, behind the even the wins you get, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like talk about the work that it actually takes to win out here, you know what I'm saying? Like to be an entrepreneur. Like talk to the people a little bit about that, you know what I'm saying? Cuz I don't want to fantasize the idea of being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to remind people that it's actually more work than working a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
for sure, for sure. I start off by saying the main thing that had to be put at work is faith.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think what cripples a lot of people from actually walking in it, um, is the fact that we do have plan Bs.
That's facts.
When I got in it, I didn't have a plan B, but that's how I operate. That's how I'm wired. So everything that I began to try, including a welder, I went to school. I didn't get a welding job till 3 years later.
Yeah.
And I say that to say it's continuous work. Like my mindset is throw it up against the wall and see do it stick. If it don't stick, keep it moving. Try something else. And so I never had that plan B because whatever I had my hands on, I was giving it 100%. And so came to the point where I got tired of working on jobs. Like it felt like a dead end.
I'm dead now, brother.
It felt like a dead end, and so and then I'm the type I take pride in what I'm doing, and so I would be taking pride in it. Then you can't move up because this next person that's your boss been there for however many years. He waiting for the guy that's been there for double his time, and you can't move up in most jobs until whoever over you moves out the way or get elevated. And so I knew that God was calling me to because I love people. Let me start there. Like I love people. I'm a people's person, and so it's not hard for me to talk to a stranger. It's hard for me to meet a stranger. And so when you ask what type of work it went in to do it, I gave it my all, and I didn't have a plan B. My mindset is this has to work. This has to work. I don't. Here it is. At the time when I started, I was married to my son's mom, and you know when she met me, I always have worked. I always had a job. But it was to the point where I wanted more for not only myself, but I wanted more for my family.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the fear is going to tell you, well, stay on this job certain amount of time, you get promoted, you get raises. But God was calling me to more than that. And so my mindset was I don't have a plan B. Like this has to work. And so I stepped out there. It really started as business development because what I had realized in myself is I've always tried to make myself an asset when I was working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And so the revelation that came to me is I'm helping them build this business. I'm helping them to create millions and millions and millions. And so I'm like, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I'm pretty good at following and trying to be an asset.
Yeah.
And I was always taught as well is the best leaders master following. And so once I realized like I'm okay with being a follower, like my pride not out there, that's when I really began to elevate. And so it's not just hard work that it's going to take. you have to identify your strengths, and you have to be confident in your strengths. And one thing that I'm truly confident in is my gift of gab. I know I know how to intellect. I have an intellect where I can express how I feel,
Yeah.
or I can paint the picture for you
Okay. Put your
verbally.
put your bend your mic down a little bit. Good. Yeah, there you go. You good. Go ahead.
And so, yeah, so on top of hard work, it took believing in myself.
That's a big one.
I have acknowledged that my faith in the Most High. That's number one. But faith without works is dead. And so not only do I believe in God, but I believe what God has put into me. I believe what God has cultivated my entire life, even down to the pain. And so I believed in myself, man. I betted on myself. That's what it boiled down to, as far as stepping out there and saying, "Hey, I'm about to make this happen because I know who on my side."
I think I think it takes that. And we even going what you saying is kind of what we talking about today on the podcast, but I think it takes that coming to the point of this gotta work. You know what I'm saying? Like letting go of a plan B. Because like how many times do we say we trust God, but we have something a just in case plan? You know what I'm saying? And we have a just in case plan, and we disguise it as wisdom. You know what I'm saying? But it's really fear. You know what I'm saying? So it's like speaking for me, anyways. That I've had to look at myself and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like we say we trust God, but it's like sometimes, really, I'm be honest with you. Like your faith and your trust is only intellectual. It's only something that you thought about until you put in a situation where you actually got to trust. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you said, like in order to get to that point, even not even being an entrepreneur, even starting a podcast like I'm doing, eventually you have to get to the point. If you want to build anything, if you want to start, if you got any kind of plans, you want to start a clothing line, you want to start whatever it is that God, I know God got a dream in everybody watching, and it's like you have to get to a place where you let go of that a plan B, and you tell yourself this has to work. You know what I'm saying? And you rely, like you leave comfort. It's like then and only then I believe you can only truly trust. Because until you have to trust, then the trust that you say you have is only intellectual. It's only something that you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like knowing Michael Jordan stats. You know what I'm saying? It's like knowing Jesus stats. You know what I'm saying? It's like knowing he walked on water, knowing he died for our sins. But until you put in a situation to where you have to trust, I don't think your trust is real. You know what I'm saying? And it's like until you got real trust, until you got, I don't think you can do what you said. Because in order to step out, like you said, you gotta have some kind of, like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have some kind of foundation. You know what I'm saying? Even when you stepping out to the unknown, like you trusting in God, in the Most High. And it like talk about even that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I hear the Holy Spirit talking as you're talking, right? And you mentioned foundation just now.
Yeah.
See, there's a difference between a recipe and ingredients.
Yeah.
And so, as we're here talking about faith and trust, that is a piece of the ingredients. But if you have ever been in the kitchen, you've cooked, you've baked, usually it's more than one ingredients that you need to create something new.
Yeah.
And another piece of ingredient that you need in order to have that faith is something that you've been exercising:
What's that?
consistency.
That's facts. Yeah.
Consistency, like, and I thought that consistency came because when you mentioned you've been doing a podcast, anybody who's doing a podcast, it's easy to get the setup,
Yeah.
But in order to allow it to grow and allow God's breath to breathe on it, and for you to get viewers and things like that, you have to be consistent
Yeah.
at what you do. And that's with anything.
Yeah, that's facts.
Whether you're party promoting, whether you're building a business, whether you're building a podcast, whether you want to be a good husband, good leader, it's going to take consistency. They have to see you show up every day,
That's facts.
no matter how you feel. So you got to go above your emotions. You got to go above your feelings, because there were many days I didn't feel like getting up and going to lift some furniture, but I knew I had to.
Yeah.
So I don't care how I feel. I got to go do this. Same way anyone who has kids. You may want to have that moment to yourself, but you know you still got to show up for your kids.
That's facts.
So I say that to say it's a list of ingredients that you need. You know, consistency, faith, work ethic. You know, and you could keep going on depending on the business that you are building. You know, for some businesses, especially now, you know, everyone doesn't necessarily have to deal with people.
Yeah.
But I'm old school, so I prefer to deal with people versus like the online thing. And most entrepreneurs will tell you, especially the businesses that are thriving, Walmart and other huge organizations, they're not that CEO is not good at everything.
Yeah.
So you also have to know how to delegate.
Definitely. Definitely.
You
Yeah.
you you have to know how to delegate, because I mean, especially in my industry, I started off my business with residential moving. You got some guys who would try to move a couch and washing machine, all of that stuff by themselves, but you're not about to make a career out of that doing it by yourself. And so I had to learn and trust. So this is the thing. See, God is amazing, because I also deal with trusting people, but I've been put in many positions and situations where I had to trust somebody,
Yeah.
especially wanting to grow the business. Is I can't be out there every day.
Yeah.
So now I got to trust somebody to take care of somebody else's furniture, knowing that my face is the one responsible for it.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've had my situations where people have let me down. But you had to be consistent, get back up, rectify that problem, and keep it going.
And that's fire. Like and that's great from the man. Get a little head clap. You feel me? Yeah. Get a little head clap. But no, that's coming from somebody who in the field. And I appreciate that. And the title of this podcast is real and authentic. But I wanna go deeper in that, even not even on the entrepreneurship. Because obviously that's something that's like, okay, that's your lane. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been doing stuff like this before you even started entrepreneur, like selling candy. Like it's kind of like how you networking. And even me doing stuff like the podcast was like me jumping. I've always jumped out on crazy endeavors. You know what I'm saying? I've always that's just part of my makeup. What I want to talk about is even the trusting God. I want to talk about when you have to trust God in places where you're not strong, and it's like coming from the idea. Uh, and I'm not saying it's you, but coming from the idea that I believe God, because so many people out there in this situation right now, and I've been there. I believe God, but I don't trust Him, and that is hard to say, especially to anybody who say they believe in God. But an example is Peter. You know what I'm saying? Peter had enough belief to step out of the boat. The only one. You know what I'm saying? They could say they could talk trash about him sinking, but out of all them, like all of them could have stepped out. But Peter had enough belief in Jesus to step out of the boat. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't trust him. He didn't have enough trust, you know what I'm saying, to keep him afloat. Because soon as he fell and Jesus immediately dragged him out of the water, the first thing Jesus said, "Why did you doubt?" You know what I'm saying? So right there is a clear cut example of I believe, but I don't trust. And like even coming from that's personal for me now. Doing like everybody who watches this podcast, they know I just lost my mother. I'm not gonna go into detail about it, but just even me being in that situation right now, I've even had to come face to face with that reality to a certain extent because it's like I trust God to start this podcast. I trust God to do all kind of crazy endeavors. But now that I'm in a situation to where I can't control these emotions, and I'm used to being able to control it to a certain extent, like being able to keep going. But for the first time in my life, even after my dad died, for the first time in my entire life, I've reached places where I had to stop. You know what I'm saying? Where it was so bad that I had to stop, and the anxiety of me not being able to control the emotion because I want to control it, like it's put me in a situation to where I had to realize like I don't fully trust God to bring me out of this. You know what I'm saying? Because I got so in a place of darkness, of despair, of like I'm just desperate to get out of this place, and it's like it feel like God taking His time, and it's like dang, I'm face to face with the reality, and it's like I say they say God speaks in a still small voice. So even like in these dark places, when I don't want nothing else more than a moment of peace, nothing else more than a moment of peace, and then I would hear like, do you still trust me? You know what I'm saying? When nothing's moving, when the pain is not going anywhere, when you're in a situation that you you don't have words for, and it's like you come face to face with the reality. Do I trust God? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe in Him? And you can relate that to any pain. It's like how do you how do you react in those situations? You know what I'm saying? When you in unknown territory and like you 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 gotta stop. You gotta say I can't go further without you.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, especially when you're a control freak like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you know clarity. And a partner of mine I just got off the phone with him. He was like, somebody said to him like, would you rather have clarity in the situation, or would you rather have God with you in the situation?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you not gonna get clarity,
That's strong.
but as long as you got Him, you know you're gonna be all right. But is that enough? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Can you let go of controls that I don't know the way, I ain't been shown the way, but I trust you, not what you can do for me. I'm trusting you, that
Mm-hmm.
you a good father, that you will never leave me nor forsake me. I'm trusting in that, even though I don't feel it, I don't see it. I'm trusting in you. How you do that?
Well, I like to take a moment to give God all the glory, honor, and praise. Because that voice that you're talking about, I'm hearing it.
Yeah,
I'm hearing it. And so I know He's here with us.
yeah,
And so, what I heard, even going back to the Peter, we have to begin to look at this thing from a holistic standpoint. Because sometimes it's not the fact that you don't trust God, sometimes you don't trust the fall. Because it was the fear that held Peter and caused him to sink.
yeah,
It was the fear of him going up under that water.
yeah,
He didn't trust the water.
yeah,
You know, he trusted God. He believed God. But it was like, I don't trust what's going on around me. And so we have to begin to not be scared of failure, not be scared to fall. And I know that to be true because I'm looking at the areas that I'm strong in when it comes to having faith that God's going to make a way with my businesses because I'm not scared to fail.
yeah,
But when it comes to, again, like I said, I've been married before. When it comes to marrying again, there's fear there because I'm scared to fail.
mm.
I'm scared of that how that blow feel. I'm scared to feel that.
Mm.
And I guess it boils down to your trust in God has to be stronger than your fear.
Yes, that's what I was leaning toward. Was you saying that? Yeah, I mean, cause like, yeah, we do. We afraid of the fall, and it's like that's really the heart of what I'm saying is like, yeah, you your trust in God has to become greater than what you fear. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's the heart of it. Like me saying you don't trust God, I'm not saying that like you don't trust God at all. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you face with situations like that or situations like me, it's it's like going a little deeper. Okay, you trust me, but you haven't given me like you don't trust me with everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think as life and situations and I don't think nobody well, I know nobody it gets there automatically. You know what I'm saying? It takes situations, it takes life and however God does it, the process to get you there. But I think the end goal is to trust me with everything. And it's like that's I'm only saying that just for anybody listening, for me and you, it's like, yeah, I don't. If this don't apply to you, then this don't apply to you. But I know it applies to somebody that's watching. You know what I'm saying? And it's like first of all, it takes a real moment to to really be able to say, you know what I'm saying, I'm scared. You feel what I'm saying? I had to get like even recently, like even with these emotions, I ain't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Stopping me from going. I'm like, I ain't never been this low mentally, and it's like I said, man, I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I can't control it. I don't feel like myself, and it's like I had to like my prayer to God was like I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? And in that, I believe that's where God does His greatest work. Not the like, because Paul said I boast in my weakness, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to. I've always said, even when I jumped in here, I don't want to play church. I don't want to do religion. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm really gonna know God, I really want to know God. I don't want no artificial joint. Like I really want to know God. And when I pray, I don't wanna come to God as somebody who I'm not. Like I'm scared right now, or I'm struggling right now. And I think that's the heart. I think that's the heart of what I'm talking about is just going back to relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like the gospel, our faith, it all revolves around Him doing. You know what I'm saying? And if we not kept, like I'm not taking away accountability. I'm not saying like, okay, just go live any kind of way you want to. Like you're like, but at the end of the day, especially if it's something that you struggle with, you know what I'm saying? First, be honest, bring it to God. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you gotta, like most of the times you gotta acknowledge that it ain't you. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna overcome this thing. And it's like being able to be honest is, I think, the first step of healing. Because it's like without honesty, I don't think healing even begins. Without transparency, I don't think you can even begin to heal.
Yeah, you definitely have to identify. I think another big thing that we have to do in the beginning stages is to understand that we're human.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Like because and that's kind of what I was getting at when I was saying it's not just about trusting God. It's also having the understanding and the wisdom that we are human, right? So a boxer, he's gonna go in trusting and believing he's gonna win that fight because of the training that he has put in to be ready to be prepared for that fight.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, as he's in that fight, he's bobbing and weaving. So he has felt how it feels to get hit in the face,
Yeah.
to get hit in the abs, to swing, miss, and get countered. He's felt that. But because he has felt that, it has created almost a fear. And as we know, all things work together for the good of those who are called according to his word and his purpose. So the thing about it is, as that boxer gets in there, he's bobbing and weaving. He's not trying to get hit, but that comes with it.
It comes, yeah.
That comes with it. So, and that's kind of what I was saying. The entire thing, the foundation of it is trusting God. But it's like faith without works is dead. It don't end at trusting God. You have your work to do as well. And some of that work is identifying that I'm human.
That's definitely.
Identifying that I'm going to feel emotions.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes back to early when I said we have to learn how to go above our emotions.
Definitely.
Because if not, then the emotions can keep you in fear. It can have you completely turn around from your calling. It can have you running. It could have you doing a lot of things because you're not believing in yourself that you're going to bounce back from that blow. Because that's for me, that's where the fear comes in. It's like, God, I trust you. I'm willing to go through it, but I'm scared of the outcome.
I'm scared to fail.
That's it.
No, I mean, like, we talking about that all the time. It's like being like understanding that you're a human, and it's like if you're not careful, especially in today's society, that's why you gotta watch. Like, cause you know everybody a TikTok preacher, everybody, you know what I'm saying. It's like everybody got a voice. You know what I'm saying. Uh, that's why I tell people on this podcast, like I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm just sharing mine with yours, so that you can get some insight. But one of the biggest things that we talk about here is the human experience. And it's like you can get into religion so much that you forget you're human. And it's like that's what self-righteousness come in. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like trust me, there are levels. You know what I'm saying? There are people who walk on this earth who do not have the struggles that I have. You know what I'm saying? They have conquered lust. They have conquered like there are levels, but everybody's not at that level. And the truth of the honest is, it's like we look at things like David. Okay, we all talk about David. We all talk about the guy after man's own heart. We all talk about Goliath. Now you said the human experience. Now, when I look at it, when I look at this little what 15, 16-year old, however old he was young, running toward this giant with three rocks. As we tell the story, it would seem as if, and truthfully, we don't know. This is just my perspective. As like, okay, David's not a god. David's a man. He's flesh and blood. So I would imagine that as he's running toward this giant, like just the human experience, I would imagine as he's running toward this giant, as he's trusting God, because at that moment, his trust in God is more than his fear. But I believe fear was still there.
For sure.
As he's running toward, I can imagine David heart pounding out his chest.
Adrenaline.
I could imagine like just the fear of the situation where like, I could die. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but still moving forward, or even Abraham. You know what I'm saying? Like we praise Abraham, and Abraham's the father of faith. And I tell anybody, I see why. Because me as a man, I don't think I could have done what Abraham did. But we look at that situation and we praise it and we write sermons about it. But let's slow it down and think about Abraham, the man. Now you imagine putting your son, tying him up, putting him on the thing. Like we don't think about that scene. That's why faith is ugly sometimes. It's ugly because he was doing it. But I could imagine that his heart, as a father, you know what I'm saying, the whole time tying his son up, doing this, going through this, I can imagine snot all in his beard, sweat coming down. He probably would have died as soon as, like, if God would have allowed him to kill his son, he probably would have died of a heart attack himself. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of I say all that to say because it's good. It's human experience, and it's like faith ain't always pretty. It ain't always comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like even Abraham did it. You know what I'm saying? And God said, "Now I know you. Now I know you fear me." But wasn't nothing easy about it. Like you said, like he had to overcome his emotions. He didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? he had to like overcome. Oh, I mean, I could imagine as a father to willingly kill your child because God told me to.
Hmm.
Because God told me to do so, and but he he still went forward, and at the end of it, it came a fruit, but it painted a real to me. It painted a real picture. If you don't
Yeah.
just gloss over it, if you don't gloss over these stories and realize that these were humans, you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
and imagine how terrifying they was. They
Hmm.
don't. It didn't take away the faith. It didn't take away his belief, but he's a man. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't no telling. He probably was moments away from a heart attack. Ain't no telling. It was a horrifying situation. So I like that what you said about human experience.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, man, I hear ultimate faith.
Ultimate faith.
Ultimate faith. I hear ultimate faith. Like there's obviously levels to this.
Yeah, it is
You know what I
levels.
mean? Because
It's levels.
it's easy to have faith and comfort.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, when you got it.
It's easy to say, I got this job, so I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go clock in.
Yeah,
It's different when you get up and you say, I have this business, I have to go find some business.
had to go find some money. Yeah,
I have to go get this. Like it's not a clock in. And so as you was telling the story about Abraham, that took ultimate faith.
it did. It did.
Ultimate faith, because ultimate faith dismisses, dismantles, kills, slaughters doubt and fear. It also kills, dismantles understanding. Because if Abraham was up there tying his son up and was trying to understand the logic
It did.
behind him tying his son up to be sacrificed, because I'm trying to imagine myself there, and it's like it would have been hard for me because I don't understand this. I don't understand why I have to sacrifice one of my most precious possessions. But then as I'm talking, I hear lean out to your own understanding.
Understand it. Yeah, but in
And
all that
so
way.
that takes ultimate faith though.
Yeah,
Because I understand that I gotta get up, brush my teeth, wash up, put clothes on, go to this job. I understand that.
yeah,
But I don't understand when I'm going, here it is, I feel like you call me to be an entrepreneur. I knock on this door and don't nobody answer. I go and I hear a no.
yeah.
I'm not understanding why I'm walking this entrepreneur when I can go get a job. I got a solid resume, but you calling me to be an entrepreneur, which causes me to hear no, which causes me to hear a door slammed in my face, which causes me to say, I got rent coming up.
Mm.
I got a family to feed. So I hear is levels to this faith. Because again, when it comes to comfort, it's easy to believe. It's easy to trust God. And I feel like that's why God allows pressure.
Yeah, that's exactly. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Because he said glory to glory
Yeah,
to glory. And so in order to get to one level to the next, it's something called process.
mm-hmm. And you get exposed. It's like you said. You say it's levels, and it is levels because you may trust God on this level. You know what I'm saying? But then why you got a 9 to 5? Okay, but then you lose that 9 to 5, and now it's exposed. Okay, you don't trust me like you think you do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm,
was all good when you had a job.
mm-hmm.
It was all good when you had money flowing. God is good. You know what I'm saying? No sin is good, then its mercy is duress for. You singing? You happy? Hey, yeah, and it's like I know it's like, but then situations really exposes, okay, you don't really believe that like you think you should. And that's why I believe this wholeheartedly. Like there's okay, faith without hearing is, you know what I'm saying, like faith comes by hearing
Yeah.
and hearing by the word of God. And like there's like preachers, ministers, how would they hear unless they're sent? So it's a purpose for people, but it's like if you stop there, then the only faith or belief that you have is what you being said. Me personally, I don't believe it's possible to have real trust and faith until you're put in a situation where you have to. Like, okay, they may preach, okay, faith without works is dead, or lean not to their own understanding. And you got that. You know what I'm saying? You received the revelation, but now you put into a situation to where I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, can we let because we all struggle with it at some point in time, can we let go of the idol of self-reliance? It's like I said, there is a place. Like faith is an action word. Like if I say I trust God for this podcast, so I build it. You know what I'm saying? I put it out there. Like faith ain't it moves. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't believe something if you don't move toward it. Like you're only fooling yourself. But there's like in that in that moving toward is like that's where real trust is cultivated in life, man. When you really step out, when you say you believe God, when you say you believe God for this business and you really step toward it, you know what I'm saying? That's when I believe you really start to begin to understand trust and faith. You know, it's like that's when you really understand. I lean not to your own understanding because it's hard not to lean not. It's hard not to lean to your own understanding. It's like I don't understand this. This makes no sense.